This is a video about Kairi Sane and will answer the question, is she leaving the WWE and what will she be doing next? I'll be using a variety of sources, some of which are public knowledge and some of which are exclusive to this channel. If you like videos like this, please do subscribe. As has been made public knowledge by the WWE and in fact by Kairi Sane herself, she has now stopped wrestling on Monday Night Raw and will be returning to Japan as soon as she can. A lot of people within the WWE have already wished her well, as she's a very popular figure backstage. When Kairi Sane debuted on Raw alongside Asuka, she had apparently already suggested to the WWE that she didn't see her long-term future with the company. There was some unhappiness as regards her push in NXT, mostly from fans, to my knowledge not from Kairi herself. There was also, I felt, a lack of effective use, particularly in her first couple of months on the roster when she simply didn't appear, and neither did Asuka. Over the course of the next few months, her desire to return to Japan became more and more prominent. At the same time, her wrestling contract began to wind down and she was apparently showing no interest in renewing it, despite many attempts by the WWE to engage in a dialogue about that. The plan that the WWE came up with in conversation with Kairi Sane was to have her move to the NXT Japan brand, which hadn't launched at the time. The idea was that she could wrestle, coach and recruit for that developing brand, as well as be a draw name to bring eyes into the product. To date, this is still the plan, though the NXT Japan brand is on hiatus or at least on hold until the global pandemic clears and they are able to launch it as they originally intended. I have been told by numerous people within the WWE that the NXT Japan brand was supposed to have launched already, at least in some capacity. Now, in the build to this moment, a number of injuries have very unfortunately affected Kairi Sane and taken her out of action for quite a prolonged period of time. Apparently, every time she picked up an injury, she would blame herself quite openly. This would really endear her to the WWE employees because nobody thought any of it was her fault. This is why, after last year's TLC, both of her opponents, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, would publicly praise Kairi Sane. Not only was she great in the ring and very popular because of that, but her humility as well really helped endear her to everyone. She would also blame herself for being injured after a match with Nia Jax, which I have mentioned on my Twitter. To be clear, my original updates after TLC and in fact the update after the injury in the match with Nia Jax, both of those have been confirmed pretty immediately afterwards. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it is at Colohue, COLOHUE, for immediate reports. Since these injuries, the WWE have attempted to be careful and limit the chances that Kairi could pick up any further concussions, which is what those injuries were. This is one of the many reasons we haven't seen very much of her in the past couple of months. There was apparently some discussion after the match with Nia Jax that Kairi Sane might be considering an early retirement due to a stack of injuries. To my knowledge, that did not go any further than that moment. The WWE have offered Kairi Sane a contract that involves working in NXT Japan. That does include potentially wrestling. So we may not have seen the last of her. The contract is apparently quite lucrative, but it would prevent her from wrestling for any company other than the WWE. The WWE are apparently very eager to tie Kairi Sane down and make sure she is not available for use elsewhere, because they strongly believe in her drawing potential, particularly in Japan. Kairi Sane, to my knowledge, has not signed that contract, at least yet, but sources within the WWE camp have indicated to me that they are confident she will be doing so once they have hashed out the numbers. Now, my first encounter with Kairi Sane was in a hotel in Manchester here in the UK, where myself and the entire WWE roster were staying during a UK tour. She was being accompanied at that time by Sarah Logan, and this is one of the reasons that Sarah Logan was added to the Survivor Series elimination match that happened shortly after this meeting, as they had struck up quite a strong friendship. Kairi always struck me as someone genuine, energetic and very welcoming. Shy, humble, and of course talented. I completely understand why she's so popular backstage. I wish her all the best in her next steps and wholeheartedly wish that we get to see her wrestle again someday soon. For more in-depth updates like this, please do remember to subscribe. I've been Tom Colohue, and thank you for joining me.